This is the first in 3 videos on the Betbuilder. So the Betbuilder is, if you like, it's the home of the tools. It's the calculator that all of the tools are brought into. So we've discussed before the difference between trackers and tools. So trackers, you're going to get the bets given to you. You're going to get the back odds. You're going to get the EV. The work's provided for you. And a lot of people, they just use bookie bashing for this. They don't want to do any exploratory work. And that's absolutely fine. Plenty of value to be had doing that. There are, however, a lot of advantage players that want to find and calculate value themselves, mainly because there can be some big edges that really can't be shared with a wider audience. They'll get killed if they are, and you want to keep it to yourself. And to do that, we use the tools, and the Betbuilder is, if you like, the home, the hub of all of the tools. What is it? Let's open it up now. So it's the second tool in the menu. And it is a dual function tool. It will calculate value for you. So if you want to work out the fair odds of anything, just to know if your bet is plus EV or not, you can use the Betbuilder. Also, you can use it to send bets to your tracker. The bookie bashing team ourselves, we use the Betbuilder to send bets to the bet tracker. These Betfair daily specials that you see every day on the tracker, we use the Betbuilder to work out the value and to push them. They could be plus EV, they could be negative EV, but once they're pushed to the tracker, they're then sort of monitored over time. So that's what the Betbuilder is. It's a calculator. It's a calculator used to work out fair odds and to push the fair odds to the bet tracker, which exists up here, the first tracker under trackers. So let's have a look at a little bit of the layout of this screen. At the top, you have a ribbon. Now, one thing to bear in mind, this ribbon should be green. If you go offline, if you lose internet, if your IP address changes, if whatever happens, this will go red. And it will still work, but when it's red, it's disconnected. That means that you can't send bets to the bet tracker, and your data won't be live. Though, if this does happen, there'll be a little reconnect button up there. You can just push that and reconnect. It should normally be green. Okay, there's a couple of options up here I'll come to, but this is the main calculator down here with stat and all these different menus that can be opened. This is the main calculator. It's been 100 seconds since the data has been updated into this calculator. And here is how we push our bets to the trackers if we want to. What does this mean, 113 seconds since the data has updated? Well, when you load the Betbuilder, it loads all of the data at the time that you load the page. And now the data is static. If you've had the page open for an hour or 2 hours, this might be a bit stale. But all you have to do is click Update Data, and then the data will now be 0 seconds since the last update. So that's all that means. Okay. In the past, we did try to have it updating live all of the time. There was a big issue with it slowing down, getting really difficult to use doing that. So that's why the data loads once. We've actually had a question from somebody. I've loaded the Betbuilder and I've tried to work out a bet, and then my friend's got a Betbuilder up on their screen and they have different fair odds there. Well, that's because it's meant to be live, and the friend may have opened this a minute or 2 or 5 or 10 after you did. And if you both click Update Data at the same time and you see the data update time, then you'll see the same fair odds. Okay, so I'm going to just show you the layout now. So this part of the calculator here in the middle, we can use various different sources of information to work out our bet. So let's say there's a bet you want to work out. You've got to benchmark that somehow. You can benchmark that using the exchanges, which is a very legitimate way of doing it. If you're looking for horse win odds, I don't think you would use anything else other than the exchange. You can use the best bookmaker price, which is a very good and valid way of working out what the fair odds might be. You can add margin to that if you want to. We have a lot of bookie bashing lines that we calculate in-house. So in this second column here, we've got goals, cards, corners, correct score grid, player tries, player goals, handicaps. All of these lines that are here are available in the different tools. So, if I select handicaps, there are various different lines under these sports. If I want to go and get more detail about this, I can go into the handicaps tool. For each of these different tools, there's an individual video that talks about the source of information, the confidence, how it works, and everything like that. So I'm not going to go into that in this video, but all of the tools that are available, the player XG, the handicap, the shots on target, the 180s, all of that information feeds in to the Betbuilder. So it's there if you want it, but if you just want to trust that the fair odds are okay, the Betbuilder is where you want to come to have a look at it. So that's the main crux of the center of the screen. We down here have the ability to save a bet. If you've no interest in saving a bet to any tracker, you can just hide all of that. Clean up your screen a little bit. At the top here, we have some info and some options. So we have optimism for cards and corners, shots on target and assists. And these sliders can be changed. I have my cards up at 100%. I've got my shots on target down at 8%. They can be changed when working out the lines on the particular tool. And if you're happy with those, really, it is a kind of set and forget once you've worked out what kind of position on the slider you want to be using. For more information about this, go and see the detailed games video for cards and corners and the player stats video for shots on target and assists, and we talk more about the sliders in there, right? Or if you just want to copy me, 100% for cards, 50% for corners, 8% we worked out as good for shots on target. I do sit at about 50% on assists. I'm waiting for more information to know where to put my slider, and when I don't have a lot of information, I stick to the middle, 50%. Right, okay. The last thing that we have up here is standard view and reset. So reset, obviously, we can build a bet up and then just reset the calculator back to the beginning. And standard view is to do with how the exchange is viewed. And let's just go straight in to that. Okay. I'm going to bring up Betfair today because I know that there is a bet at Betfair that I'm interested in. It's the Betfair Golf British Masters coming up, and Betfair have got a couple of boosts on the British Masters. They've got Justin Rose top 5 and Justin Rose top 10 at 3.4 and at 2.375. Okay, now you don't need to use the Betbuilder just for boosts. You can use it on standard markets. You can use it on pretty much any kind of bet. But for this example, I'm going to look at boosts. Now, the golf is something which we don't have any bookie bashing lines for golf. Again, if you want to know what we do have lines for, you can just check under here. At the top, we've got goals and tries and game center, and then some popular markets from the game center down here. I could look at best bookmaker price, but I'm going to use Betfair Exchange to look at golf. I'm going to bring golf up, and then I'm going to bring the British Masters up. And there's only one, it goes competition game because that's the way that Betfair send their API. The market I want to look at, let's have a look at top 5. And here's all the selections for top 5. And I can go and find Justin Rose and select him. Alternatively, I can change the standard view to a list view. And the list view just brings up every single player. So I can select Justin Rose, scroll down. There's a lot of players here. And to be fair, this is a bit messy now. So I'm just going to change that to standard view. And I can see that 3.65 is the fair odds for Justin Rose to be finished in the top 5. Let's pop over to Betfair. And I'm going to navigate to top 5 finish. And I see here that Justin Rose has a back of 3.65, a lay of 4.5. And if I look at his trading history, his last price match was 3.5. So the logic here will take the back price or the lay price or the last price match depending on the situation that's going on with trading. Now, what's happened in the trading for Justin Rose here is that the last price match is 3.5, but he has a back of 3.65. So it wouldn't be fair for the fair odds to be 3.5 because there's an existing back of 3.65. And so that's why we have fair odds of 3.65. It's relatively inefficient, that market, and it should close up. And as it closes up and gets closer to the first tee on Thursday, this line will improve. The accuracy and efficiency of this line will improve. But for now, we know that at Betfred, they're offering 3.4. So just now, 3.65. The 3.4 is not a great price. And we can have a look at his top 10, which was 11 to 8. Justin Rose, fair odds of 2.3. So that might be a value bet for us. So Betfair Exchange can be used across all the different sports to come up with a fair price. If the market's empty, I mean, some of these guys right at the bottom, I'm going to assume nothing's been traded. We can't work out anything for Christiansen, so we've got 0.00 there. We've got all of the markets from Betfair, and they come through on an API. And, you know, you can work with them. Horse racing, you can filter by meetings and races, even by jockey and trainer, and some different fields here, which kind of make it a little bit easier to drill in to the races of the day and find the particular jockey or horse that you want. So that's Betfair. Let's have a look at a different Betfair, actually, whilst we're here. I'm going to go to Sky Bet, and I'm going to look at American football. Now, it's the middle of the summer, so the American football season doesn't start for a while, but I see here the Super Bowl, they have a boost on the New York Jets to win Super Bowl 58. It's 16 to 1. So I'm going to track that using the Betbuilder. Okay? Betfair Exchange again is the stat I'm going to use, the benchmarking tool that I'm going to use. I'm going to go to American football. Competition will be NFL. This is the way that Betfair send the API, so I'm going to go for the earliest one and just see if I can find Super Bowl winner, and there it is. And the selection was the New York Jets, and they were 16 to 1 at Betfair. At Sky Bet, 21 at Betfair, and so again, not a value bet, but that's how we sort of calculate it on a single by single basis. Now we can do more than just singles. We could do doubles and ors and ands, but I'm going to come to that in the more advanced video. Additionally, we could send bets if we wanted to, but I'm going to talk about the trackers, the private group trackers, sending bets in a follow-up video. So just now I'm just looking at singles, and I'm just looking at how we use the Betbuilder. Right, let's have a look at a different kind of bet. Let's have a look at some best bookmaker price. Now, I'm going to use best bookmaker price when I know that the exchange is going to be a liquid and there's no bookie bashing lines. So an example of that might be rugby union. Let's have a look at rugby union at Sky Bet. In September, which is a couple of months away, the Rugby World Cup is on, and France versus New Zealand is the first game. So I can see down here, let's have a look at halftime, full-time. France is 2.3. Now, this kind of bet, I'm going to choose to benchmark against best bookmaker price, just to see if Sky Bet become top price, or if it starts to drift, or if it starts to steam. So here's American football. And sorry, I want to change this to rugby union. The competition is the Rugby World Cup. If we see, we've got a little loading symbol now, so it's loaded the games in. France versus New Zealand. The market that I want is half-time, full-time. And I wanted home. Right down at the bottom. And the fair odds for this are 2.51. So we're getting 2.38 at Sky Bet. It's not a value bet at Sky Bet. Maybe it is in somewhere that you found an SSBT, a shop, something like that. But I can change the markup that I add to this. So if I have 1, what this means is that there is no markup. The top price is 2.3, and I'm adding no markup onto the top price. Sometimes that's fair. There are certain markets that you look at on OddsChecker, and the top price is pretty much equal to the fair price that is being traded on the exchange. Sometimes you want to add a little bit of markup. The standard markup that I like to add is about 9% when I don't really have any other information. If I want to play it safe, I'll add 20%. I'll do a 1.2 markup. So the juice I'm adding here is 1.09. I'm getting fair odds of 2.51 for half-time, full-time on France, New Zealand. For best bookmaker price, we have feeds for these sports: football, horse racing, American football, basketball, darts, rugby league, rugby union, snooker. Just now our provider doesn't provide us with any more sports, so at the moment we don't do cricket, but we're always adding over time. Okay? The third benchmark, and probably the most useful, I think, is the bookie bashing lines that we calculate in-house. Let's have a look at those. So all the different tools as mentioned are at the top, from goals, cards, corners, tries, 180s, handicaps and totals, and player stats like shots on target. At the bottom here, we often use the Betbuilder for football, and so we've got a lot of popular markets from the game centre, and I'll come to these in a second. But let's have a look at some cards at Paddy Power just now. So these are today's games at Paddy Power. It's the middle of the summer. It's a pretty dry day for football, but we've got Portugal versus Belgium coming up, so I'm going to go into that game. Portugal, Belgium, and here are cards and fouls up here. Let's just pick one at random. Looks like there's going to be a few cards in this match, to be fair. So let's have a look at over 5.5. 6-5, which is 2.2 for over 5 cards in this match. Back to the Betbuilder. I'm going to pick up the cards. Soccer, the competition is the Euros. Now, I could just search, though. So if I don't know the competition, I could just search for my team. Port will bring up, they'll bring up every single team that's got the letters Port in it, which is more than I thought it was going to be. But there's Portugal, under 21 versus Belgium, under 21. The team, I want to look at total cards in the match, and I'm going to up 3 to 5. So over 5. Cards in this match is 1.96. And if I have a look at Paddy Power, they're offering 2.2. Now I've got myself a value bet. What about over 4.5 at 1 to 2? Just plus EV. Probably wouldn't bet in it at that thin, but over 5 cards looks good. What about over 6 cards? 3.3. Even better. So here we've found that Paddy Power, and possibly also in the shops, are offering some value for cards in the Portugal versus Belgium match. And this can happen quite frequently. And that kind of bet, if it's in the what odds paddies, that'll be found by the combo bets tracker. But the standard market line there, we wouldn't put this up in the tracker because it would get cut quite quickly. But we do know that users have a look at this. They work out the line here. Another option we could have in this game is to bet on it in the exchanges. I'm not entirely sure if the exchanges are going to have a cards market in a game such as the under 21s, but let's have a look. No cards markets happening at Betfair. But if they did, we can see that there's a bit of diversity of opinion because we found this value bet. We might be able to go onto that market and have a look at over 5 cards, and we might be able to trade something good given that there is obviously a breadth of opinion out there. Let's have a look at a different bookmaker. I'm going to have a look at Coral. So if I find the Portugal match, I'm going to look at goal scorer now. And so for the under 21s, Fabio Silva is 2.75 anytime. Okay? 5 to 1 first. Let's have a look at those 2 bets. I'm going to now use Bookie Bashing Lines Player XG. For a list of all of the games that we have in Player XG, you can go to the tool or just open it up. Now, the search field has changed from search team to search player. So I'm not going to find a player with Port in the name, but his name was Silva. So I'm just going to do that. And all the games with a player called Silva will appear. We actually have 2. There's a Silva in the second game, but it was Portugal under 21, Belgium under 21, and there's Fabio Silva. And we see over 0 goals in the match was 2.96. What were Coral offering? They were offering 2.75. So not quite value. What about for him to finish, to score first? Well, we change over 0 goals to score first in the match. We could have under exactly between things like that. To get the first goal in the match is 7.54. What were Coral offering? They were offering 5-1. So again, not a value bet, but that's how we find our value bets and we go through them. Let's have a look at a last value bet. Betfred today. Let's go away from the golf and look at the football. We see in Spain versus Ukraine under 21, Spain to win both halves. So at the Betbuilder, that is a game center market. Under Game Center, we have all of these different win and BTTS, win both halves, win to nil. First of all, I'm going to go to one of the win both halves, and then I'm just going to change the game from Portugal to Ukraine. Spain, Ukraine. And I've actually got Spain under 21 to win both halves here. What was the bet at Betfred? It was Spain under 21 to win both halves, 4-1. And the fair odds are 4.84. So that's a good bet, albeit quite thin. So we can just quickly... if we opened up the Game Center here, we would get all of the Game Center markets. Either team to win and over 2.5. But the main ones that we see over and over again are down here. Spain to win to nil, Spain to win by 2 or more goals. So it just allows us to pick them up quite easy and run through them. So that's an overview about how we just check the value of singles in the Betbuilder using bookie bashing lines, Betfair exchange, and best bookmaker price. One last thing I can do is I can send this bet to the tracker. It's been 537 seconds since it's updated, by the way. If I click update, it'll go to 0. And the fair odds just slightly changed. So there has been a little bit of a shift in the XG in this match. So I'm going to send this. Now, I can choose to send this to one of 2 trackers. Both of these exist in the bet tracker. I can send this to my private tracker or my private and group. The bookie bashing team send all the bets to the public tracker. We don't let users send bets to the public tracker. All users' bets are private. And I'm going to talk about that more in the next video on the Betbuilder. But the bet tracker, private and group trackers will appear in that video. But for now, I'm just going to send this to my private tracker. The bet is Spain under 21, win both halves. It has auto-filled this. Sometimes if the bet's a little bit weird or kooky, the auto-filling doesn't really understand what's going on, and I can just, change this to whatever I want. Spain under 21, win both halves, if that's what I want to call it. I will actually give it its full title for now. It's at Betfred. It is 4-1, which is 5.00. I can give it a flag if I want to give it a flag just to sort of categorize my bets if I want to. The location, it's available online and it's available in shop. So I'm going to give it both tags there. And I'm now going to save my bet. And that has now been sent to my private bet tracker. I'm going to open up my tracker now and go to the private bet tracker. I've turned public off so I don't see all of the public bets. And there's my private tracker. I only got one up there, but that's what I've just sent. Spain under 21, win both halves, available in the shop. At Bookie Betfred, 5 to back, 4.84. Fair odds, EV is 103.35. If I click update data, I see that it has just bounced back to 4.84 and that matches. So the odds are always live and they're always moving. The XG can just shift ever so slightly and that will cause a little bit of a shift in the fair odds. And that's how we see our live bets on our private tracker, and it's how we send bets. So as discussed, I'm going to talk about the private tracker and the private group tracker in the next video, 3.2. Then we'll come back to the bet builder and we'll do a little bit more advanced stuff. Because we can do a lot more than this. We can do multiple bets with the and or the or. We can group games together so we can have a look at how many goals there's going to be in the Premiership over all 10 goals, what the bet builder can do, what it can't do, and its limitations. That'll be in the next one. And then there'll be a third video where we look at sort of very complicated bets. We're going to look at drift steam tracking then and some static bets. And we're going to have a look at some fancy calculators that we have under static variable, known as Poisson and Skellum calculators. All of that really advanced stuff. So we'll take it one step at a time, and we will come back to those probability distributions in the pro version. But this video here has just shown us how we can have a look at singles through three different benchmarking tools: the Betfair exchange, the best bookmaker price, and the bookie bashing lines that are available on the tools section of bookiebashing.net.